Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Cave.
What? Together.
Togetherness. Yes, high five. Or
yes.
fist bump. We couldn't decide this morning.
I couldn't fist bump because I got on like my silver knuckle. Like, yeah.
Well, whatever. We couldn't decide this morning because, you know, it's early.
And there's no coffee. I haven't had coffee, actually. Although I'm allergic and I've said it 1,000 times.
I don't know why she always tries to have coffee. I think she just wants to have food allergies. I think that's what she wants.
Nobody wants food allergies.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? As you become allergic, you all of a sudden then want what you couldn't have.
But why? What is the reason? I don't understand. Wait, I'm going to be allergic and swell up. Let me have some coffee.
It's because they invented EpiPen. That's all. Like,
oh my goodness.
Coffee EpiPen. Coffee Benadryl.
So not only, you guys, do Nono really like to be narcissistic, but now she likes drama too. Hence why I guess she's a writer.
I had so much to say about that.
I am.
And then the return of Nono. Are you joking?
What?
No, I haven't lost a podcast in ages.
True.
I've just done really bad ones by myself. That's not important. You guys, by the way, did you guys catch this weekend? We were on the virtual self-publishing summit.
Yes, we were on the virtual
literary conference.
I know we were co-hosts. I can't believe she invited us back. You know we silly. She just keeps on inviting. She's like, oh no, my guests love your energy. Which is ridiculous because by the end of that conference, I had no energy.
And I was praying for energy. Looking at coffee.
I was praying for energy. I was like, please, could I just get some energy? Anyway, I am Jay because we forgot to introduce ourselves.
Oh my goodness, we did. And I'm Winona.
And we are the co-authors and co-founders of the And I Thought Ladies and the And I Thought series. And I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons. And I thought being grown up was easy. And I thought I could juggle it all. And I thought I did my journey alone. Wow, how can I just always forget that book? Y'all, it's my favorite book. It's my favorite one.
She forgot her favorite child. It's so sad. That's pathetically ridiculous. But I'm going to just say one more thing before we get in here. By the way, you guys, so if you want to check us out later this week, I believe we are showing up at the Annapolis and MWa Maryland Writers Association on the 21st. But
the 21st. the 21st. Because we can talk this one. Anyway, we'll be there, which is great, with our lovely guests. But first, I have to tell you where you can find our books. Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and AndWeThought.com. If you order it from AndWeThought.com, we will sign it and send it out to you. Understand that little message that we write in there, you won't be able to understand because we write with chicken scratch.
Actually, we're practicing. We got the big paper with, the solid line, the side line.
No. Taking it back. Okay. Anyway.
All right. You guys,
done.
You don't want to hear us talk anymore.
Yes.
So we don't do smart segues here. Oops.
I mean, we almost had one, but she just did it too early. So, our wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Certainly. Thank you so much. And let me tell you, you guys do have a huge amount of energy, and that's why we love you. My name is Jenny Iacovisi. I'm the president of the Maryland Writers Association Annapolis chapter. So as you guys mentioned, that we're having our December meeting on the 21st in Annapolis at the Maryland Hall, and it's an open house. And if anyone would like to join you and your wonderful energy, and I'll be there too, we'd love to have you all. And I'm so excited to be here with you two ladies because you are so wonderfully enthusiastic, and truly we draw from your energy. So I love that.
Okay, that's really great, and I thank you for lying to us because we appreciate it. We appreciate the lies that sound like compliments. We're like, we will take them. We know they're lying, but we take them to heart anyway.
You don't need any coffee of any kind.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm going to take that as a two-sided compliment because, I'm doubly narcissistic. One, we don't need coffee because we have energy. And number two, because you actually care about my health. Voila!
Exactly. I don't want you to have to carry around your EpiPen. It's not good.
All right, we should probably circle around to what on earth we're here for today.
So, yes. How did you get involved with the writing association.
Oh, before we do that, do you mind if I back up?
Wow.
Okay. I'm not even just interrupting her plot today.
She doesn't want money. She doesn't want our guests to have questions. It's crazy today.
You go ahead, Ramona.
You are an author of some books, correct?
I am an author of a book, and here I will do what you ladies do. I will hold it up to the camera. It's called Up the Hill to Home. This is my debut novel. It came out about 1.5 years ago. It's about 4 generations of a family in Washington, D.C. between the Civil War and the Great Depression. And it's all about my mother's family. So it's actually based on a true story, true history. It's done pretty well. It's gotten some awards. It's gotten very good reviews. So it doesn't necessarily translate into sales, which is one of the things we were going to talk about a little bit today. But as somebody once told me, you know what? Once you're a published author, no one can ever take that away from you. You are a published author. So there you go. So I am a published author, and that is honestly how I got involved in the Maryland Writers Association. Before my book came out, I really was not involved in the Writers Association. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk with you ladies about today is the concept of folks who are emerging writers and the real need that they have to participate in their writing community and all the benefits that will bring to them as they are working on their craft, as they're trying to get themselves a little bit more known, a little bit more established, and how the facilities that are out there, the materials, the support groups that are there for people who are trying to get their legs under them, and what I find is that particularly these days, the publishing landscape has really, really changed, and I think the landscape for writers then has really, really changed. So up until probably 10 years ago, you didn't have this emerging self-publishing market where truly the gates have been thrown open, right? There are very few gatekeepers anymore to publication. So that's good and bad. That brings some interesting issues because there is so much competition now, whereas before there's a relatively small group of what they call the big 5 or big 6 publishers. And they were the ones who sort of controlled who got published and how many people got published in any given year. Well, that's not true anymore. And so that's wonderful for people who are just coming into the craft because they know that they can get published. But the downside is that there's so many voices now that are competing to be heard, and pretty much the same group of listeners, the same group of readers, and arguably some people argue that number of readers is sort of growing smaller as people tend to not read as much as they did because there are so many other competing interests for that kind of time and energy. So anyway, so I became involved in MWA as one of the ways to get out into the writing community and participate. And as I said, that was one of the things that I really wanted to chat with you all about today is the opportunities that people should take to get out into their writing community.
I agree. You should definitely be in the writing community. Since I stole from Jade, I'm going to go ahead and let Jade add first. Would you like to say anything?
No, because she did such a smart segue and just rounded my question right in, and I appreciate that. Because we don't do them over here, but I'm so glad our guest does them.
It's a good segue, absolutely.
I wanted to say that I loved what you said about the gatekeepers, and it's been a lot of positive. Because I've been around I've been being an author, being around the publishing
for years.
That many years, yeah. So I started at 10. It was the first time I had something like decently published. And
excellent.
So, like, it's been a while, but you know what it was like when the gatekeepers were there and they were entrenched and they were strong. Mm-hmm. And then I actually got to sit around and see what happened as they kind of gracefully started abdicating their thrones. They were like, well, if we must, you know, and then now with it just being flooded, there's just so many negatives that go along with the positives that you're available to be published. Now you just have to make so much. And I think it's interesting with traditional publishing, and I promise I'm going to shut up. With traditional publishing is that, like, even when you do get a traditional publishing contract, you do have to do platform building yourself. It's the same as if you were self-published. Granted, now that I'm saying that, I am going to be narcissistic and be like, y'all remember, I got signed to a 3-book contract by a traditional publisher in New York. So, hey, I'm bashing it, but I'm loving it at the same time.
So truly, I would never turn my nose up at a 3-book deal from a traditional publisher, no question whatsoever. And truly, one of the things that I discovered, so just to back up a little bit for myself, one of the things that I did as a disservice to myself, which I didn't know at the time, was that I chose to not get out in the writing community until I had an actual, what I consider to be a somewhat finished product. So I promised myself I wasn't going to bother to look around at how I was going to get published until I actually had what I consider to be a finished book. But to some degree, that was a little late then, because there were so many things I would have been learning along the way. And even though it might have taken a little bit of attention away from my finishing my writing, I would have been kind of better prepared coming out of the gate, and I would have known a little bit more about what my options were. But one of the things I've found is that most people seem to think that there are only 2 ways to go. There's either trying to get an agent, because these days you basically have to have an agent if you're trying to break into that big 5, big 6 publishing houses, or you can self-publish. And so again, there's absolutely pluses and minuses to both of them. To a great degree, as much as we talk about how self-publishing has come into its own and is really considered as much or as well as traditionally published, there is still that sense. It's hard to get a review in a relatively significant publication if you don't come through the big publishers, right? So, but one of the things that I discovered is that there is a middle ground between self-publishing and big 6 publishing, and that is small independent presses. And most of those independent presses, they don't require you to come with an agent, and you can work with them pretty closely. They either they have open readings all the time, or they have a time during the year where you can submit your manuscript to get read. Maybe they only publish a few books a year, but at the same time, you know, that's how I did it. So I went through a relatively small press called Apprentice House Press out of Loyola University in Baltimore. And again, there's pluses and minuses to small presses. Also, they have very few resources. And so a lot of times you have to bring some of your own, like your own editing, your own, so we can talk about that a little bit more, of how much you have to invest through a small publisher. But at the same time, it's still considered traditionally published. It is not self-published. And that, so you get it's considered in the same way as something that came out of the big 6. But absolutely, to your point, no matter who you are, and I swear even almost at the maybe not Stephen King, but anybody below and the next rank down from the really, really big ones, everybody has to do their own platform building, their own marketing, their own. Almost nobody gets away with not doing their own book publicity anymore. So you have to do your publicity, you have to do your own marketing. And that's, again, I think one of the hard things that people just starting out don't really understand, and their expectations are probably a little set incorrectly, perhaps.
It's very funny because we just talked to someone on Saturday of the Self-Publishing Summit, the Virtual Self-Publishing Summit, about that and how we are authors and a lot of our time is spent behind a computer screen, like in front of a computer, or
right.
behind closed doors because we're trying to hammer out this book. Right. And how to take yourself from being probably that shy person, because you know the only conversations you ever have are the conversations you make up, not ever have, but a lot of time you spend a lot of time in your own world as you're making up the stuff, and how to get out there in the public and do your own marketing and talk to people about your book and do all of that. And do you think that the Writer Association do help with that?
I think they do. There is, I don't know that I've ever had any interaction by going to a meeting or listening to folks talk that has not given me information that I didn't have before, where I haven't met somebody new that connected me somehow to something new in the writing world. And again, particularly for folks who are just kind of starting out. And what I find also is that sometimes people starting out these days are a bit older than perhaps in the past, where they've waited until maybe they're getting ready to retire to decide that this is really what they've always wanted to do. They've always wanted to write. And so that's kind of a little scary. You know, some people who have been established in their career for a long time, but now they're trying to start again in something else. And I think that particularly Maryland Writers Association is a safe collegial place where there are other people in about that same position, but we're also able to bring in people who have a lot of good street cred in terms of knowing who've been out there, who've sort of, you know, been around the block a few times and can really help people. And what I see is lots of very enthusiastic sharing and being open and willing and very supportive of each other. And to me, that really, really helps when you're again just trying to get your feet under you. And again, what I encourage my folks to do at MWA is to truly to think in terms of where they can participate out in the community. So I did. I joined MWA, and I immediately got sucked into being on the board of directors and being an officer in my chapter. And again, you know, people volunteering is one of those things where you have to sort of coax people into being interested in volunteering, because it takes time, and it takes time away from your writing, right? But at the same time, a couple of things that I do also, I participate in the Washington Independent Review of Books, which is an online review site, and I do a lot of reviews for them, which has led me to then I'm now the chair of their writers conference for 2017 and 2018. So again, let's see, more time, but again,
out there, I think.
Exactly. I mean, at this point, let's be real. I have a product to sell, right? I mean, that's that transition from being an artist to being a salesperson. I mean, truly, and that's you try not to be obnoxious about it, right? You know, it's that fine line between promoting, because you have to promote, and you know, being a jerk about it. But the point is that you have to think about getting your name out there, and you guys probably know that if people who think in terms of, well, I know a lot of people who will buy my book, you know, my whole family will buy my book, and you know, you run out of people you know really, really quickly. And so you need to figure out how to get out, get known, talk to other people who are like you, figure out how to connect with readers. So again, one of the great, in Maryland, we have all these wonderful book festivals. I don't know if you guys have participated in. We have Gaithersburg, we have Kensington, we just had Tacoma Park. And I know the Baltimore Book Festival is like 3 days long, right? We have all these wonderful book festivals that are all targeted towards here's the reading public. And again, so Maryland Writers is typically at least at Gaithersburg and at Baltimore. And we try to get people out there and talk to people, meet people, listen to who your readers are. That's where you want to be. And so it's, again, encouraging those folks to get out there and, yes, sort of lose that writer, I'm back by myself in a corner, and get out and so kind of push yourself out there and put that public face on, right?
It's kind of hard, and we've learned over at least the last year, 14 months, how to really
get out there,
put on our faces and get out there, it's been a very interesting journey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bragging again. It's been an international journey, so
that's awesome. It was awesome.
Well, I think the last 2 times I've seen you, you guys have just been back from England. So I'm like, oh, man.
Hey, can I take this moment? I'm going to take this moment to plug. I'm sorry.
No, go.
So you guys, we are on WCOMB in Las Vegas on the 21st and 23rd of January. So please check us out on Judah Moreo's book review and Amy Kadashian's AK and the Experts.
Whoosh.
Yes. So that's what we'll be doing then. But again, back to you. And
you are at the Washington. Oh, I'm sorry, Jade. I did it again.
No. You were I was gonna say you were at the Washington
Washington Independent Review of Books.
Wow.
So about 5 or probably even longer ago, 7 years ago, the Washington Post stopped publishing their Book World review as a separate Sunday supplement, which kind of was, as far as I was concerned, that was the end of the world as far as I was concerned. Exactly. And at that time, Washington Independent decided to start sort of filling in that gap by publishing. It's online, but it publishes 5 days a week, excuse me, new content. And I just noticed that apparently one of my reviews just came up today.
Yay!
Yeah, exactly. So again, so it gets me reading a lot of books, which is another thing that I tell writers all the time. You have got to be reading. You have to read a lot. You should read outside of your own genre so that you can see what's going on out there. It opens you up. It gives you ideas. It helps you see how other people, do it, pull it off, right?
Yes.
And you should be writing every single day. And so for Washington Independent, I'm reading tons of books. I'm at least writing the reviews for those books. But it also helps to push me to say I need to be writing my own stuff too. A couple of the other things that I belong to are the National Book Critics Circle. So because I've been reviewing for Washington Independent and also for the Historical Novel Society, I joined the National Book Critics Circle. And again, so right now I'm helping to judge their Leonard Prize. They give a prize out for best debut author for the year. And so I'm helping to judge that prize. So again, I'm reading 6 new books that I never got around to this past year. Debut authors, they're all wonderful. It's hard to really choose among them, but I don't know if you guys have read Homegoing, Yaa Gyasi.
It's actually it's on my list.
On your list, on your to be read list. Well, I'm reading it right now, and so 6 books that I had, like I said, had been on my to be read list. Well, guess what? I'm reading them now because I have to hurry up and do it. So again, that's getting me out in that writing community. It's pushing me to read, it's pushing me to write. And then the other one that I belong to is PEN America, which is all about protecting freedom of expression, which, you know, is one of those things we have to be a little concerned about. So, so those are all the things that are all connected, and every thing I do helps to push out a little bit more, learn something new, you know, meet somebody new, add to the trove of experiences that help to inform your writing. So, so truly, these are all the kinds of things that that writers need to be thinking about. And for me, because I am one of those people who I built a career up over 30 some years, and until I finally said, you know what, I got my degree in English Lit back in, you know, back from the University of Maryland, and I think every English Lit major is legally required to write a book at some point, right? Aren't they? So, I agree. So I thought, you know what, I was so busy building that career that I forgot that I really love to write. And so I'm one of those late bloomers, right?
And not so late. It's not so late.
Not so late.
She just graduated.
Penelope Fitzgerald published her first book after 60. So, okay, that's fine. Yeah. At the same time, I do think back on the amount of time that I lost, and I could have been using my time much more, more strategically, and doing a much better job of using it well. And that's the other thing that I would absolutely push everybody. If you feel that urge to write, if you feel like that's what you want to do, just do it. I mean, you don't need anything special. You need a napkin and a pen, right? Just write and use that time wisely, because that is the one thing that none of us ever get more of, right? Yeah. So that to me is the big thing. Use your time wisely and get out there and find the joy, right?
Yeah.
Find the joy.
I think
you guys are nothing but joy.
I think actually in the And I Thought Divorce Was Bad, one of my quotes in there is, the most disrespect someone can do to you is waste your time, because you can never get it back.
Exactly. Absolutely. So so that's what I say. Use your time well, find the joy, and do what you need to do to get yourself out there.
Can I say that I'm so overjoyed to have you with us.
Excited.
I mean, you
love your books.
Oh my, yes.
Love them.
Huge fans of your books.
Love them.
The way you put words together.
Love it.
I need to learn that skill. Because like I write mysteries and stuff, so like I'm always really concerned about my plot and words, right. And all my words are kind of gritty and edgy, and you got to like kind of abbreviate, and you just want that person to feel like they should be on the edge of this. So you don't really like smooth it all the way out. The way you do it, it's like riding along on a Maryland highway. We don't need many. Unless you're in Baltimore, I apologize.
We're talking about the Annapolis road.
The Annapolis road.
We're talking about that Route 50 until you get to DC. We're talking about that.
Oh yeah, no.
So I was like,
well, the one thing that I love is when people tell me that they felt like they were there with the family, so that they. Somebody who said that when I had to put the book down because I had to go do something else, I would find myself wondering, I wonder what they're doing now. You know, so I thought, wow, that makes me feel like I've accomplished something, that you feel so close to the family that you feel like you're wondering what they're doing while you're not with them.
I'm not going to lie. I remember the first time I heard you read it, I was like, what happened with that fan? I had to find out about the sharing of the fan. So I immediately went on and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yes.
You just got to know.
You have to know. And I thank you for coming on. Our time is done, you guys, and I'm saddened. But Ms. Jenny's going to tell you where you can find her. I mean, apparently it's everywhere.
Oh, you betcha.
You can find it.
Certainly, you can find Up the Hill to Home at Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com. You can go to your local independent bookstore and order it in, and I highly recommend. I love independent bookstores, so please find your favorite one. Go tell them that they need to order it in. And you can find my website at JB Yacovisi. That's YACOVISI.com. So just look up the hill to home, and you will find me.
She's right.
She's right.
Yeah. The first time I met her, I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Her name was Jenny. Oh,
I spelled the name wrong, so I just Google searched that bad boy, and it's like Jenny Yacovisi.
There you go.
And all your awards as well.
Yes. Good job.
Good job.
Okay, so we are the And I Thought It ladies. I am Jade.
And I'm Winona.
And we are the co-authors and co-founders of the And I Thought Ladies Speaking Group and the And I Thought book series, which you can find on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and WeThought.com.
You guys notice how I never interrupt her at the end, right?
Yes, she never does, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Because maybe she likes to make the money at the end.
Yeah, at the end, I'm like, I'm ready to cash in, y'all. No, I'm joking. I'm so joking. So you guys check it out, and don't forget that if you want us to sign it, that's we'll write it down. And I say it's Dr. Script. She sells it Chicken Scratch, but whatever. Dr. Script is what I'm going with because I feel intelligent. But anyway, we'll write it down. You might not be able to understand it. We apologize. But we'll send it straight out to you with your name and everything in it. By the way, we should probably end with our tagline.
We are going to end with our tagline. Wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. I'm getting so much better at this.
So peace and love.
From Winona
and Jade.
Bye-bye, you guys.